Hey guys, welcome back to 5-9 Gaming. It is your boy, the Masked Ningen, and I am here with Mr. Kensei. Say hello to everybody.
What's good, everybody? I'm here. So we're going to do is a lot of stuff here today. So a discussion.
This is going to be interesting because we put out a poll over here. You can see I've got up on the screen at the moment. We've got the YouTube community tab. We put up a poll here asking you guys to let us know who has the best EZA out of the 120 leads and why. And as you can see, the votes are in. We're starting with the YouTube community page. We did post over on the Twitter as well. But make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel if you want to see this stuff as soon as it comes out. And yeah, we are going to start with those comments here. So obviously, first of all, you can see on the screen pretty landslide victory for Gogeta. So does that surprise you at all, Kensei?
Actually, quite a bit. I mean, actually, slightly, but like it makes sense why they choose Gogeta because he's in a lot of teams. Of course, he's like the main, like one of the main fusions. So it does make sense on why people choose Gogeta. And me personally, I would not personally pick Gogeta. I would pick Janemba. So. But we do want to go and see why they choose Gogeta for that.
Yep. That is a good point, actually. You can see on my screen, since I'm signed into my YouTube channel and not the 5-9 one, you can see that I, of course, voted for my boy, Super 17. But that is because we were talking about this briefly before we started recording, but I think it was Sunblade who made the tweet. But the way that it's worded... I feel like people can have taken it two different ways, and maybe that has influenced the choice for Gogeta, because it does say who has the best EZA. So when I read that, I sort of take it as whose EZA gave them like the biggest increase, which is one of the reasons why I picked Super 17. Whereas if we were going for just who is straight up the best out of the four, then I could see maybe more of an argument for Gogeta. What do you think about that?
Yeah, because at first I was like, who has the best EZA? I would say definitely would say 17 because he is actually one of the best ones. Well, like the best ones out of the extreme ones. Well, besides Janemba, but Janemba, 17 got like one of the the biggest buffs. So now I know why this questioning or the wording is like who has the best EZA and then who is the best EZA. It's just depending on it. I probably would say probably Janemba, of course, who is the best EZA, but man,
because Janemba and Gogeta are up there because, like you said, they're not only on good teams, they've got really great link sets, which is obviously one of the things that lets Super 17 down a little bit. He's not on a ton of teams. He got shafted, doesn't have big bad bosses. But I mean, the thing is, people who know me from my own channel and know the memes, you know that I love Super 17, but the reason I would say his EZA was so good is because, as much as it pains me to say, he was almost unusable in some of the hardest content in the game before his EZA, and now, obviously, like you said, you can consider him up there, like hanging with the big names on this list. Whereas before, he was pretty far below. So his EZA definitely gave him a massive increase. But let's start having a look here at the comments. So I guess we can go through them, like maybe take it in turns or something to go through some of them. But I like this top one. So Gogeta, he has the power to shut down an entire server twice. So yeah, Gogeta unfortunately coming out and getting his EZA at the time when this whole fiasco has started on Global. So Gogeta, the power of Gogeta breaking the game a little bit. So.
All right, and then we got is the second comment here, which is top tier Ganon. Janemba has one of the best link sets. I guess he does, so I do agree that they do have the best link set. He's a defensive monster. I think what he's I think he's thinking about the STR one. You can also count in the int one, because remember, both practically the int one and the STR one are pretty much the same unit. Pretty much, one is just more defensive and one is more offensive. So yeah. And then he said he can throw out 4 million, etc. Gogeta is a second close, which I would agree with that, because Janemba's, because literally, if I see the stuff for both Janembas, like literally the int one is more an offensive unit, and the STR is more a defensive unit. And if I was gonna choose both of them, they're practically both. I would say like the number one, but you know, the first one is Actually, as the 120 leads, yeah.
Yeah, it's specifically for the STR one, but they are,
Yeah.
you're right, they are very similar. They
Yeah.
kind of have their little differences here and there for certain modes, but yeah, they're both very strong EZAs. So
Yeah.
both the EZA Janemba's pretty damn good. And then we got our boy Wolf's Paradox here. Somebody on the home team, we love to see it. People forgetting Super 17 is basically invincible after being hit a couple of times and pops out 3 to 4 million attack stats with 70% damage reduction and decent defense. Very, very true. Once you got his EZA, I've seen comments, probably, I don't know if they're from the other thread or just from when he got his EZA, but he was a big boost for people being able to complete Extreme AGL Super Battle Road because his defense is just so good. And that's one of the reasons why I put him so high on the list, because he's not hitting the highest attack stats of any unit in the game, but he's hitting really solid attack stats while taking basically no damage. So
yeah,
that's what we like to see.
Okay, and then we got another one. We got Malone. I think I say it, and Dokkan and stuff. I think he said, I think Gogeta's better because he is on more teams. Well, he is on he is on Final Trump Card. He is on like Fusions. Super Saiyan, remember correctly? I think he's on that one. Remember correctly.
The int one, I think.
Yeah. The int one is on Super Saiyans. Yep, and then Other World Warriors, which is a really irrelevant category. There is Connected Hopes, another one. I mean, they're not really that great. And also Power of Revival, which is new that just came to JP. My bad. It's not on global yet, but yes, I do think he's in really good teams here. He dodges, which I was actually I predicted that on one podcast. So when with that we were talking about in Gogeta having dodge, which is I did not expect him to have like a restriction on him. But yeah, so and it's all defense. Yeah, true enough. I mean, I can't really use him because global is, a little bit broken right now. So I haven't got the chance to use him yet. So it was like, I don't know how his defense is gonna be at right now. So like, yeah, and then shares links with any many other top 2 units, of course, like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, SCR Blue Gogeta, and etc. And can hit super hard. Well, yeah, of course. I think I used him on the Bojack event, and he hit like 3.9 million attack stat, which is really nice. So I definitely can agree with that for sure.
Yeah, he definitely has a pretty complete package with some of that stuff. But like the things like the links and the teams, like this is going back to what we were saying about how the question is laid out, because obviously he had all of those things beforehand. And yeah, he's always been a very solid unit. Like the fact that he has Prepared for Battle and Over in a Flash, like this guy was saying, he links with so many top tier units. I like the fact that the next one, I'm not even necessarily sure which person he's but does he guard though?
Does he guard though?
So, could be in response to Gogeta being in the lead, I guess, because we all know, some of the best units in the game, they guard. But I feel like that was too short to count as my comment, so I'm going to read the next one. Gogeta does everything, more categories, and links better with his team. Again, that's very much in the camp for which one is the best overall as opposed to necessarily the best increase, but you can't really disagree with any of those points because Gogeta is a very solid unit overall.
Yep, and then here's another one. Venom, he said, truth, in quotes, Janemba is the best because he can guard. I mean, honestly, they can, both Int and SCR can guard. I mean, that makes it more more viable for these guys to win, because honestly Gogeta is only missing that guard. If he had guard, I think he would have been like the best from EZA for sure.
Yeah. I like the fact that next one says, imagine Janemba of all characters being underrated, because I mean, even though technically he is in second place, he's only got 17% of the votes, which is pretty crazy. Like second, third, and fourth are all really, really close together. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I understand what he's saying. Like, image like them being underrated. It's because if you see their kits, I mean, all they do is just guard and they dodge, and I think the S-tier one gets like more evading chance with each attack evaded. I mean that's like seems underwhelming. Like literally, there's just nothing like what this S-tier Janemba can do here. But the int one, I think he guards as well. He also evades an enemy's attack, including super attack, and also he gains 1+ additional attack. So, like, it makes sense. But like, once you use these, once you use these Janembas, they are really good. And honestly, I understand why he says that for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, the next one literally says Janemba, he's the best out of these for difficult content, and that's basically the most important thing in the game. Like, it's true, obviously the meta in recent years has shifted very much towards defense when it comes to the hardest events in the game, so that is pretty appropriate. I like the fact that well, I'm skipping over one, but I've just noticed this one. The fact that this poll is so biased doesn't even include Super Saiyan 3 Broly. So clearly a totally serious comment, because we all know, you know, Super Saiyan 3 Broly wouldn't be number 5 or anything, but out of these 5. But.
True. I mean, if he had his negative defense from his passive away, then potentially he could have been here for sure. Definitely could have been. But
like the fact they fixed that issue with Gotenks, because. Yeah, I mean, this guy says depends on what best EZA means, which is kind of the main point we've been sort of going over. If it means who got buffed the most, it's Gotenks. Now, at least he doesn't get one shot by Cybermen. So, I mean, a little bit of an exaggeration, obviously. But yeah, his defense was not great before. Physical Super Saiyan 3. Almost, again, I would say, for me, in terms of when I'm building my teams, like, I would say he's, like, basically unusable for the hardest modes that we have in the game at the moment before his EZA, and now obviously they completely removed that negative and really ramped up his defense, so he's
for sure
pretty crazy now. So what we should do now, we don't want the video to drag on too long, but we do want to include some of you guys who gave us feedback over on the Twitter as well, so I do have that up here. And the funny thing to note is, so Gogeta won again. Not quite as much of a landslide, although to be fair, he's got almost double the votes of the second place. But if you look at the Twitter poll here, 13,000 votes. We got Gogeta first, Janemba second, Super 17 third, and Gotenks fourth. And if we flick back over to the YouTube here, Gogeta first, Janemba second, Super 17 third, and Gotenks fourth. So kind of crazy that even though very different sample sizes across both websites, I'm sure obviously a bunch of people did vote in both, but the fact that the results ended up being the same is pretty crazy. So obviously this one got a lot of attention because of this top reply here from Truth. So why don't you go into this one for us?
Yes. So Truth said the answer for this cruise is a Janemba, because both SCR and Janembas are better than for choices. Which I do agree with him, but since I double check the questions who has the best EZA out of it, I think what Truth like read in its mind say who is the best EZA out of 120 leagues. So if I was gonna be Truth, I'll probably say either Super 17 or Gotenks, because I think Gotenks got the biggest buff, but also 17 as well. But me personally, I'm a big fan of fusions. I mean, technically, 17 it is a fusion between both 17 and Hell's Fighter. So, but I love Gotenks a bit more. So, with Gotenks, he, I mean, the only thing that he was just missing is just defense. And then for some reason, Akatsuki just give him like more defense, more attack, even more attack and more defense, and they give him a medium chance of dodging an attack, including super attack for 7 turns. And one of the biggest buff is that he, on his Alevsky Super, he becomes effective. Well, the attack becomes effective against all types, which is a really biggest buff for him. And just, you know, the more attack to his on his 12 Super. So honestly, I'll probably say Gotenks got the biggest buff out of all of these, but I would not out Super 17 as well, because he also got like the biggest buff as well. For sure.
Yeah, they both got very, very big buffs. And yeah, like, you're right, that Gotenks getting the super effective against all types on the 11 key is massive as well, because we've all seen it ourselves. You guys out there, I'm sure, like, you can hit really high attack stats, but if you're against an enemy where you have type disadvantage and you don't get that crit, like, the high attack stat can be one thing, but you still don't do a crazy amount of damage. And obviously that's why that sort of effect, being effective against all types, is incredibly valuable. So the next reply that's up on mine says, the best to me is a tie between Janemba and Gogeta. However, my favorite is Super 17. Shout out to the Masked Ninja. And so I appreciate that from the Tuga saying, because yeah, Super 17 definitely getting that massive buff. He says mainly because that damage reduction makes him a must-have for the few teams that he's in. The other ones, while powerful, they have alternatives. I mean, that is a good point, because obviously remember, at this point in the game, apart from, I guess, technically the ones that awaken from the SRs.
Yeah.
The 120 lead is the only Super 17 in the game, so definitely hoping that we do get a new one at some point. But that is a very good point. He doesn't have any competition, which I guess, to be fair, that's going to go away fairly soon with the update. But that is something that has definitely worked in his favor up till now.
Yeah, for sure. And then we got another comment here. Is Markel JYT. He said that Gotenks in Super 17, that damage reduction is busted for Super 17, which I do agree with that. And he rises his defense while attacking, which is really good too as well. So the only thing that I would say that Super 17 was actually missing is pivot bosses. So hopefully in the future, once we get another Super 17, potentially he could have pivot bosses, but you know, who knows, man. And then for Gotenks, is a consistent 4 million, 5 million attack stat with a great defense and dodging, which I do agree with him. So yeah, definitely with Markel for sure.
Jake the dog says Gogeta is just good without any drawbacks or of building up or being forced to a certain key threshold. That is kind of true, but then at the same time, I tried to record a showcase for him. Obviously, could only try out the Bojack event, but sometimes those rainbow orbs are just not there if you don't have like an orb changer on the same turn or potentially the turn before. And he does get a very nice buff just from picking up that second rainbow orb. He gets like a 40% attack buff. And if you get stuck on a rotation where you can't pick up any, or maybe you can just pick up the one to get that dodge chance, obviously he's not suddenly bad, but that's a lot of extra attack that he's missing out on. So there definitely is that odd restriction here on there.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that because he seems like more restrictive, and then he's not really consistent. Let's say like if you don't have like nobody to change like the rainbow key spheres, yeah, he becomes really inconsistent, which I don't like that in some units. You know, for example, the in Gotenks, he becomes really inconsistent in his passive. But like, yeah, I do agree with Jake Dog with that. So I'm like, I mean, there's half agreement and then half not agreement. You know, it's like it's just that he's just really inconsistent, and it's like I don't like that. So all right, let's go over to the other one. Let's go with Meister Tapulus. I think I how to say your name. My bad. To be honest, Super 17 is by far the best one so far. Damage reduction 17, a chance to crit, which is really good too as well. That's actually I think that's like one of the biggest ones that I've seen on a unit to give to their like allies. And it hits really hard. Tank like a god, yes. When fully built up, yes. Oh, the only criticism that I gave him is that he requires time to build up. Yep, which is really true. And his passive, like Gogeta, is really good though. Too though. I forgot to mention he also gives himself key, greatly runs attack and defense in one turn. Yep. So I actually do agree with him. Is that the only thing is that with 17 is that he needs to build up. So like in short event, it takes like I mean, in order to get him fully built up, it takes like what I would say like 4 turns, maybe like 5 turns, maybe or correctly. I mean, I haven't been using this guy as of late, the Super 17, but like it takes like a while for him to build to become really good and to become really defensive monster. Yeah, and I do agree that the 17 critical chance to the allies, I think it's what the target Goku category ally, which is really good because honestly some do need that critical chance. Because let's say if you don't have a passive, like let's say for the potential system on a 13, which I think he goes for additional correctly on the potential system. So this guy can gain like a critical hit, which is really nice from these Super 17, which is really good. So yeah, I do agree with him saying that that 17 is actually one of the best so far in my mind right now.
Oh yes. So I think this is a good one to leave it off on here. I've got one here from Roman. It says, regardless of who's the best, Dokkan's done a pretty good job with these EZAs, which I guess I can't disagree with because Super Saiyan 3 Broly wasn't on the list because our poor boy definitely not included in that. But he says there's a lot of discussion going on, which is always good to see. And that is something that I do agree with, and I definitely want to highlight here. It's very nice to see that like the comments are just not literally filled with everyone saying the same unit. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Everyone's making some good examples, and you know, like we said at the start and kind of throughout the video, maybe we could have worded the question slightly better, but it's interesting to see how everyone has reacted to the question and how they chose to read it. So what would be interesting, just to get a little bit more interaction from you guys, is now that we've kind of covered this issue with the question. Let us know down below in the comments, who do you think is the best overall, and who do you think got the biggest improvement with their EZA? Because as we've seen from these comments, and I'm sure you would agree with me, Kensei, I would say it's probably not the same person for both. So
yeah, exactly.
Interesting to see what people say. So, but as always, thanks to everybody for taking part. We like doing these community videos. We want to do more of them in the future. So keep an eye out for the posts. Make sure you are following us over on the 5-9 Twitter, and obviously subscribe to the channel, because we'll try and prioritize going to like the community tab and stuff like that. So as long as you're subscribed and signed up to all the socials, you will never miss the opportunity to get your opinions featured in our videos. So anything else you want to say before we head out, my friend?
Actually nothing. I mean, this is a really good thing for us to like to make a video on this. So I'll definitely say my number one pick now, because I choose Gogeta, I'm gonna say Gotenks for sure. Gotenks is like the best one out of the 120 leads for sure.
Okay, well there you go. I'm going to stick behind my boy Super 17. I've been doing it for long enough, even before he got his EZA, and obviously now I can safely say I backed a unit that ended up being super good. So from the Master Ningen and Kensei, that is going to be it from us over here at 5-9 Gaming, and we will see you all again soon. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.